Oh look, a new McLaren. But it's not. But it is. But it's not. What is going on here? This is the Lanzante 9559 and it's a new 3-seat supercar based on the McLaren 750S. And I think it looks pretty effective. But it's not quite real yet. So to get the lowdown on the how and the why, we're going to be talking to the people that are building it. So I want to just do some first impressions. Obviously it's got vaguely similar proportions to the donor car, but it feels kind of more shrink wrap, like the whole thing is a lot smaller. And then obviously at the front you can see this big inset bit of carbon which gives it kind of a 3D feel. And then down on the front, obviously a big wide scoop of a front bumper, but you know when the 750S has that kind of double bubble headlight arrangement here which makes it look a little bit pinched? This has got more of a kind of a ferocious scowl. It looks lower, it looks wider, it looks more purposeful. And then as you move down the side of the car, it feels like it's got like a pod of carbon set into the middle of the car. So this is all painted, but then the carbon bit is set back, it's 3D, quite layered. Super cool wheels, and obviously these. Like they're pillar mounted rear view mirrors, which is a bit of a nod to the F1, but I think they look really good. Even if they do look a little bit like rabbit ears. Again, it's got an inset piece of glass in here to drop the window. Very F1-ish, but there's loads of energy in the side of this car. It looks quite subtle and quite aggressive without being like big wings and kind of canards and basically too showy. And then obviously as you come to the back of the car, it is very much like the McLaren that it's based on. It's still got the active aero, so you can pop the wing up or down. And then because of that central seat, you see this big spine that comes over the top of the car and everything feels quite centralized. You can see through the back window the headrest of this driver's seat, which is slap bang in the middle, and all of this kind of feeds back, makes you feel like it's got a central seat. And also this area towards the back of the car is a lot lower than the standard. Inconel exhaust, and then a massive splitter and venturi. It is not completely changing the game, but I think it's refining and elevating what was there before. This is very promising. Oh, and that 4-litre twin-turbo V8 is still in the same position in the middle of the car, and it's been upgraded, although not by that much. It's now about 850 brake horsepower, although this car is significantly lighter than standard. But the big news is obviously the 3-seater element. Now this is a buck of the carbon tub, which has been redesigned so you get the driver literally front and centre. Now that makes sense because a central driving position makes it feel like a racy car. Vision is better, weight distribution is better, although I would have to insist that both of my passengers were exactly the same weight, but that would require me to have more than one friend, which I haven't. But 3 in there does look kind of cosy. But this isn't just some gaffer tape and chicken wire hacksaw job, because this is a car built by people with a long and storied history with race cars generally and McLarens in particular. And it's the code name which gives us some indication. Lanzante, an outfit that won the 1995 Le Mans 24 Hours with the McLaren F1 with the number 59, hence the new car's 9559 designation. A company that took care of F1s in terms of servicing and produced a slew of road-converted racing cars. Cars like the Pagani Zonda R and McLaren P1 GTR. That Porsche 930 Tag Turbo with the Formula 1 engine, that was Lanzante. Mad Mike Widdett's 1000 brake horsepower P1 GTR drift car, Lanzante. The P1 Spider, Lanzante. You get the idea. They're even in the process of working out how to road legalise Red Bull's RB17, which is a bit more complicated than just sticking on some windscreen wipers. But you get the point. Lanzante are the go-to people when you want to radically alter something worth more than your entire existence. So I thought I'd ask some questions of the man who should know. This is Dean Lanzante, and this is his baby. Hello, Dean.
Hi there.
How you doing?
Good.
I wanted to have a quick word with you because obviously there's a bit of mythology around 3-seat sports cars and the McLaren F1, and this car bears your name, but there's a bit of a deeper connection between Lanzante and the F1, isn't there?
Absolutely.
What is that?
We got to run the car that ended up winning Le Mans 30 years ago, which was an F1 GTR.
Yeah.
And obviously it's based off a 3-seater car. And in fact, in 95, it was very close to a road variant as well.
Yeah.
So that's how it all kind of started.
And were you involved in that
I
attempt?
was. So I was much younger at that point,
How old were
obviously.
you? Like 5 years old?
I was 21 and I was refueling and...
You were the fuel man on a Le
was.
Mans car at 21.
I was. I think they were desperate. We were desperate. It was.
There's a bit of trust there.
Yeah.
But so you've been involved with like 3-seaters, F1s, the whole way through.
Yeah.
And you've been racing with them.
Yeah.
And now you're making this kind of car. What makes you want to do it?
I mean, firstly, what makes it cool? I mean, it is an unrivaled experience sitting in the centre of a car. And the reason for doing this partly links in with the anniversary of Le Mans, so it was the right time.
Hence the name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
95-59, the year and the race number of our car. But also when F1 was built, and let's make it clear, this is not an attempt at the next F1.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, you know, I want to make that really clear because that is the truth. But it was a car that was designed to be used, and actually, even though it was hugely expensive at the time,
Yeah.
a lot of those first owners did use them.
On the road and properly.
Big mileage, and we kind of wanted to go back to that more than anything else. Something that if it's in your garage, you just pick the keys up and go. People have asked for this. People specifically have asked for non-hybrid cars, cars with luggage space. The size of the car has been important.
That's interesting.
Maintenance costs. And I think there's nothing wrong with all the other variants. I think there's space for everything, and that's what's...
And I'm assuming your guys have got all of
They
those
have.
things.
They have those other cars. I purposely tried to not make it as a replacement for one of those other cars. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
And that was kind of important for us. And on a price point too. With the donor as well, it comes in the UK about £1.3 million.
So compared to something like, well, an F1's mega money, but like a Speedtail, which is a 3-seater, it's half the cost,
Yeah.
depending on where you're buying it and what
Yeah,
you're doing.
that makes sense.
You know, GMAT50, it's not a ridiculous amount of money. What do you have to do to make a 3-seater car? What have you done?
Well, a 3-seater as well, when it's in an existing chassis such as Speedtail was done in, and such as this as well, the first thing everyone's thinking is normally you only fit 2 in that tub.
Yeah.
How are you all of a sudden going to fit 3? And you're not fitting them 3 in a line. The 2 passengers are sitting further back, so you are going into the back of the chassis. That does affect where the fuel tank is. So then you're making a different fuel tank shape. That was one of our other big challenges as too. One of the big requests from customers was range.
Oh, so it's got a tour.
People want long range. They want to not be stopping at every gas station on a journey.
Right.
So we wanted to at least maintain, I believe it's going to be around between 72 and 75 litre tank.
So it's actually quite a big tank as well.
It
That's
is.
not tiny.
Because Speedtail's 53, to put it
Yeah.
in perspective.
What have you had to do to the tub? This is like a ghost of a tub.
It is,
It's
but
like-
it is an
that's
actual
the
tub. So this is the signed off chassis now. So this is actual tooling. This is genuinely what, I mean, it's painted white for aesthetic reasons, but this is genuinely what it will be.
Give me some of the detail then. What have you had to do on here?
So we've got the passenger seats that sit further back,
Yeah.
and then also on a regular left or right hand drive car, the heater system is in the middle. We've had to move that to the side. You can see the entrance to it on the side. Then the pedal box has to move over as well. Plus the brake booster is
You forget
There's
all
also
the
a
rest
bit
of
of
the
beam.
stuff that goes behind the bulkheads, don't you?
it is. And immediately we're moving the passenger's feet slightly further back.
Yeah.
So then we can move some of those services such as the heating system, the electronics are moved over as well. And then we even wanted things like fuse boxes to be accessible, so they're going to be under one of the passenger seats.
Gotcha.
So we're not having to pull half a car apart to just get to something quite simple and straightforward.
Yeah.
So it's back into the fuel zone area, bespoke fuel tank. This actual chassis works well because it has quite a large opening on the top of the door.
So you can get into it more than you.
Exactly, you're not climbing through, you're going into the car.
Yeah. It looks relatively subtle. Again, is that something your customers were asking for? Because this isn't like a Larry car.
No.
I know it does look fairly mad. It's quite,
It has some presence,
Yeah.
and that was important. And
this is my favourite bit, by the way.
the home, but well, again, this was something loved off of this was an option on F1.
Yeah,
was to have
the
high
nod
mirrors.
is just
And
super cool.
again, these people, they own Valkyries, they own these amazing cars, but it has to be something different. This had to be something that you could leave outside a restaurant, you could leave at a hotel. I mean, you could genuinely go away for a weekend, you could use this on a tour.
Because this has still got the luggage capacity in the nose.
It does, so the whole front opens up as an entire front clam.
Yeah.
We didn't want any breaks in the bodywork. It only actually has 6. For what you're seeing painted, there's only 6 panels. There's a nose, 2 door cards, 2 rear wings, and the aerofoil.
Oh, wow.
So there's very little panels. It's all an internal skin.
And then you've got luggage space. Even the engine, though, isn't ridiculous tune, is it? This is what, 850 horsepower?
It's just over 850 horsepower. It's 1,250 kilos.
So that's a big thing for no hybrid and no batteries, and 1,250 kilos is very light these days.
It is.
So what's it supposed to make me feel? Like, what's your favourite bit about this car? Because this feels like something that people have asked you for.
It is. Look, it's still expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's supposed to give the sensation of central driving, being focused on driver in an accessible way. Anyone who buys this has got cars. They've got a collection of cars, we know that. But I'm confident enough that if you had 10 cars in your garage and you had to choose a set of keys, I'm pretty confident you'll pick this 9 times out of 10.
But once Dean had his engineering sorted, he needed someone to help make it not look like a 750S with merry-go-round seating. So he called in Paul Howes, a chap who's had quite a lot to do with very fast, very special McLarens in the past.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks.
Here with your new design, your
Yeah.
new car. Now, you've been around these kind of things before, so you were involved in the P1, the 720S, so this is a familiar thing. Is this an extension of that work, or is this something entirely new?
I'd say, you could say yes, because there was a design philosophy that I helped develop. It's more than a design language or like a design trend.
Yeah.
You know, it really is like sounds a bit weird, but it is like a philosophy, you know, of aerodynamics, of, you know, sculptural forms, organic forms with tension, and it's something that I really, really believe in. The feature in the bonnet, that came fairly early, all different shapes and sizes, but we wanted to definitely link the interior and the exterior. Again, it's continuing that philosophy of, you know, beautiful sculptural surfaces sort of draped over technical aerodynamics features. So everything that's carbon is to do with the aerodynamics of the car, and the sort of, the beautiful body's sort of draped over it. But there's an unbroken line from the nose through the body side through into the rear bumper. So there's so many cars out there now that there's not a continuous line. There's breaks in it, or there's like, it's all like aggression. Just doesn't do it for me. The big advantage through the body side was we're able to use really super high-tech race radiators that are bespoke, sort of they're sculpted to the shape of the car. There's a lot of elements on the car where we've been able to elevate the form. So if you stand at the back, you'll see all the lines all come around from the canopy, or from the sort of centre bar and the gymsel. Everything, all the cant rail lines, everything culminates in this sort of jet fighter exhaust.
Which is in the same position as a donor car, so you're not, it's sort of, because that feels a lot lower to me.
Lower, yeah.
So is everything sort of shrink wrapped down?
Everything's shrink wrapped, yeah. There's a load of re-engineering gone on in this zone. A lot of it was about getting air out the back. With this, we've got a direct feed from the back of the radiator out the back of the car.
So it's chimneying it?
Yeah. In my view, in my eyes, this is like my expression of what an exciting, like invigorating car should look like. And I kind of want people to get like pumped about it.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I want Dean to be pumped about it as well. So hopefully he is.
But you've not used the easy tricks. Like the easy tricks would be to put a massive wing on it and a really scrapey splitter.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you can do that in Halfords, can't you?
Yeah, true. But you know, down here, why does it feel so kind of like
So the bone line
energetic?
So the bone line's super low. Most cars, the sort of waistline bone line's like up here somewhere.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be really interesting to try and keep that super low, because you've got a low nose. Just gives a really different aesthetic. There's nothing stationary or static on the car. Like everything has got expansion and movement. Every surface is constantly moving. So I guess that's where, like you're saying, the energy that you're sort of feeling is because there's nothing static.
Are you happy with it?
Mega happy, yeah. Over the moon with it.
So there you have it. a new 3-seater McLaren By Lanzante, and at just 59 examples, one of the rarest. Thing is, we'll have to figure out what this car's really like when we get a car out on the road, but I am very interested, and I don't need two friends to go and drive it.